Welcome back to our, mine, ours monthly GPU unboxing. In this video, I'll unbox my second 3090, the second 3090 that I have owned, a MSI Gaming X Trio. That's the model name, but it's a 3090 nevertheless. Let's just jump right into it. The box, if you've owned enough NVIDIA graphic cards, you should be able to recognize these boxes from afar. I have owned, this is my third MSI graphic card, not sponsored by them, I'm just a fan of their design and how cool these graphic cards run. Fun fact, my first 3090 or my previous 3090 is a Ventus model, which is a slightly lower model. I wanted to get the Gaming X Trio, but those again were not in stock at that time and I ended up getting that. This time I got lucky and was able to get my hands on this. The box, again, this is a GeForce card, so these are marketed towards gamers. The box boasts about the card's design and how cool it runs. What really matters to us is it has 24 gigs of VRAM. It's of the Ampere architecture by NVIDIA, and one fact that we share with gamers, it runs pretty cool, which is why I also wanted to buy this card. So inside of the packaging, there are some safety cards, warranty information, all that stuff. The card and a support bracket. So fun fact, these cards, this one in particular is pretty heavy and it comes with a support bracket in order for it to be able to hold its weight. You bolt your GPUs onto the case. You essentially screw two nuts in, but those are just towards the left end of your graphic card. The right end, if it's heavy, might sag a bit. So if you install this thing, it will probably, keep it from sagging by holding it up like this. So that's what the support bracket is for, known as a support bracket. Huge shout out to my buddy Rishi. I did not pay in full for this card. I split the price of this with him. He's the guy with whom I started my first project in machine learning with and registered my first company with. I shared a project idea with him which got both of us excited, and we ended up purchasing this card together. So we essentially split the price. If you could do me a favor, all of us are in the world of machine learning. This guy is working in mining, not crypto mining, mineral mining. So if you could just head over to his website, starkmineral.com. Let's just send some traffic over to his website, and I think that's the best way we can help his business. That's the business that he's currently in, and deep learning on the side. In this video, I'd also like to talk about how to pick the right manufacturer for your deep learning card, or some tips on picking the manufacturer. So a little 101 here. Every year or every 2 years, NVIDIA comes up with a new architecture design and creates a reference board design which is licensed to different companies, MSI, Asus, Gigabyte, etc., which leads them to manufacturing and tweaking the design a bit by their own, adding some heat pipes, tweaking it a bit, adding fans here and there, and creating all of these designs. NVIDIA also manufactures one by themselves, which is not based on the reference board design. It's a slightly modified version of that as well. At least that's how it is this year. Those are known as the Founder Edition cards. So first thing, for the 3000 architecture, the Founder Edition cards work really well. They have really nice performance. What do I mean by performance? So there's an ideal level of performance that is assumed with every particular GPU model. These cards are designed to work under a certain temperature, and as a failsafe in their own design, they slow themselves down, also known as thermal throttling. So whenever these reach a certain temperature, in order to protect the chipset, they slow their computations that I think we are running on them, or you as a data scientist are running on them. And that leads to thermal throttling, essentially the card becoming slow after it hits a certain temperature. So for a good performance, you'd want a card that runs cool. So this year in particular, the Founder Edition cards work really well. They have a nice performance and nice thermal performance. So if you can get your hands on those would be a good option. At least in India, these are cheaper than other options, but are never really in stock, or whenever they are in stock, they sell out really fast. And this is also assuming an ideal world where you have the option to select from a few cards that are hopefully ideally priced. So if you can't get a Founders Edition, you'd want to look at different options. A few tips to selecting them. Believe it or not, if you are working in deep learning, eventually you'd want to get a second card. I never thought I would need a second one, but these cards run for a long while, and in 2 or 3 years from now, you might want to stuff your box with a second one. So how do you select one? A single one by itself might run cool enough. There are ideal temperature ranges, ideally under 70 degrees, 75 degrees, in which you'd want your card to run. Especially with two cards, you'd want cards that can manage their heat really well. So you'd want to pick a card that performs well under temperature. And B, if you get a card manufactured by, let's say, MSI, I'd want them to have a good service. Now, most of these cards are manufactured under a good quality control and barely malfunction. Sometimes they do. In those cases, you wouldn't want to wait for weeks for these cards to be replaced. So you'd want to check out how is the customer experience in your region. Third, you'd want a card that fits in your case. Now, smaller cards usually run hotter, but again, make sure that you don't get a card that's bigger than your case. These cards tend to be huge. So how do you find if a card is working really well? One thing I've learned, or pro tip if I may, I used to go looking for reviews whenever I'd be looking something up. Reviews always say compare things in pros and cons, compare things against others. Now what I do is just look up issues. So let's say I'm trying to buy a Gaming X Trio by MSI. I would just Google Gaming X Trio heat issues and scroll down to the third or fourth page of results. If you look for issues specifically, you'd find very angry user reviews on forums and them complaining about how hot their card may run. If you find enough of these, that's a red flag. With this card, I didn't find any. That was pretty good, so that's a positive sign. A red flag is if you find enough people complaining about that. For customer experience, again, I would like to look up MSI customer service issues India, for example, and if I find enough red flags, it may not be the best option, and I'd want to look at the other company or other option that might be available. So given a set of options, which one should you get? I think you wouldn't want to save some money. In an ideal world, each manufacturer has 2 or 3 different cards, and these are marketed towards gamers, but they run cooler. So the higher end card, my logic or my justification is the higher end cards are more overclockable, making them more attractive towards gamers. But that also means that under normal clocks at which we'd be doing deep learning or running experiments, they would run well. So if the difference is $100 to $200, which usually is the case, for my 2 cards, the Ventus and Gaming X Trio, the difference is around $100. Without a second doubt, I would go for the Gaming X Trio. And ideally, if you see a difference of $100 to $200, I would advise going for the higher end card, just because these would run cooler in my opinion. At least that's how it is with MSI. I looked at the weight, and the higher end models usually are heavier, which means that they have more heat sinks. The 30 series is pretty huge, and the bulkier it is, that means the nicer it is, because thicker the heat sinks, the more surface area for heat to escape, and the cooler your card will run. Heavier cards are good, bigger cards are better. Fun fact, assuming that you can fit 2 of these in a case, and you'd want to be on the lookout for that. So to recap how to pick the right manufacturer, a few tips. Look up issues, make sure it runs really well, has minimal thermal issues. Pick the higher card, ideally, if you can. Go for the higher end card, they'll run cooler. Check out the customer service experience. You'd want an ideal service experience in your country in case you want to return a card or have it replaced. Now this one may or may not be important. If like me you place your card on your desk, you might be worried about aesthetics or how silent it runs. The Gaming X3 right on the box talks about how silent it is, and it's quite silent even under full fan frequencies. In reality those things don't make a difference, but you'd be living with this card on your desk for 2 or 3 years. Maybe that $100 of extra expense divided by 3 years is quite worth it. I'd leave that up to you. It's not really a hard requirement. And with that, all of the videos leading up to Proton's reveal are now done. All of the graphic cards in it are revealed. The video after this will be a reveal of Proton, which I'm pretty psyched about. Really excited to do that. Stay tuned for that video. That's all for this one. How to select a manufacturer for a card of your choice, and the unboxing of a Gaming X3 card. Please help me send some love to my friend's website. Let's head over to his website, just send some views to it, help him improve the rankings, and thanks for watching.